In this video, I'm going to teach you how to test your own batteries at home to ensure they're actually working properly. This is especially important when you have multiple batteries connected in parallel. Just because your system still turns on and works doesn't mean that one of the batteries could have a problem. Batteries are dangerous and you need to keep an eye on them. Now, the first step is to take your battery bank apart until they're in individual packs like this. You cannot have the battery connected in parallel or series to any other batteries when you're testing it. Next, you want to inspect the case of the battery to see if there's any warping, swelling, discoloration, or melting. For example, this case is swelling, and you cannot fix this. This battery needs to be disposed of. Also check the positive terminal. It should be nice and red. Now, if the terminal used to look like this, but now it looks like this, that's a bad sign. If the plastic or the epoxy changes color, something is getting hot. And you need to look carefully. On this one, there's a small bump. But on the other side, there's a lot of heat. Now, if you find anything on your battery, you want to put it outside, cover it from the rain, and put it away from combustible materials, hopefully on concrete or around metal, and then find a place that you can dispose of the battery. And again, do not try to open up the battery or repair it yourself. Now, let's say your battery looks perfect like this. First thing we want to test is the voltage. And a voltmeter is very cheap. You can buy it at Harbor Freight for under $10. So turn the meter on and set it to V for volt. And right now it's in AC mode, so you'll have to find a button that turns it into DC mode. And now we can measure the battery voltage. We have 13.3 volts. As long as it's between 10 and 14 volts, you're good to go. If it's below 10 volts, the battery might be sleeping. You'll have to wake it up with a special type of charger. Now, most smart chargers that you buy on Amazon cannot wake up a lithium battery. These only work if the voltage is above 10 volts. So you can either use a power supply and wake it up with 12 volts, or you can use another 12 volt battery to wake it up. And this is kind of dangerous, so you need to follow these instructions perfectly. So let's say this battery has 13.3 volts. But this battery only has 9 volts. We're going to use a battery cable to connect the negative terminals together. And this is an insulated ratchet, which is ideal for working with batteries. Next, we're going to connect another cable from the positive terminal of the dead battery. And then you just want to touch this wire on the positive terminal for a couple seconds and then disconnect. And then go back with your voltmeter and test for voltage. And you'll see we're not at 13 volts. That's because this battery has a problem and we cannot use it. If you try to wake it up and it's not above 10 volts, you cannot use the battery. Now, if you get anything between 10 and 14 volts, you can connect it to a battery charger and continue charging. Now, for the next test, we're going to do internal resistance measurement. Just because your battery has voltage does not mean that it's working properly. If there's a loose connection inside, you'll see it with this meter. It's very easy to use, and these are now very cheap. These used to be hundreds of dollars, but now you can buy them for $45. And all you have to do is connect it to the terminals, just like a voltmeter. Now, this battery tested at 9 milliohms, and you'll notice there's a small M. If you do not see that M, you are in trouble. That means your battery has a major issue. Also, be sure to mess with these to ensure there's a good connection, because if there's not, you're going to get a bad reading. Now, if it does show the M, you want to ensure that this number is under 10. For a really large battery, 3, 4, 5 is very common. If your battery is extremely small, it might be a little higher, but not by much. If it shows 100, 200, 300, the battery has failed. And let me show you an example of that. Now, this battery has an overheating terminal, so it still works, but it gets really hot because there's a loose connection inside. And when we put our meter on it, we're getting 113 milliohms. Now, on the data sheet, it's supposed to be 7. So even though this battery still works and we do have voltage, there's a loose connection inside, and you should not use this battery. It is not safe to use. Now, on this battery, if you push the terminal to the side, the resistance will get lower. And you'll think, oh, we're getting better. We're closer to the data sheet number, but we're not under 10 milliohms. So again, you cannot use this battery. Now, if you push it from this side, it disconnects. But if you release the pressure, it comes back. And this is not what you want to see on a battery. This is unsafe to use. And you can see right here, we got 436 milliohms. So yeah, lots of resistance. Now let's test this battery. I over discharged it and it's been dead for a long time. And I actually never tested it, so let's see. And look at that, 1.9 volts, and there's no M present. So this is not milliohms, this is ohms. This is super high resistance. So this battery is toast. You cannot use this. And it's interesting because this showed 7 volts, but when we do this test, it drops down. And people will think, oh, my battery's sleeping. I just need to wake it up. Wrong. This is a defective battery and you can't use it. And this meter tells us that. Same with this battery. This one has a loose connection and both of these batteries cannot be used. Now this is a load tester, and these were very useful for lead acid batteries. You could tell a lot about a lead acid battery by how many amps it could deliver, but for lithium batteries, it's not that useful. What we need instead is a capacity test. Now all the testing we've done does not tell us the health of the cells, but a battery capacity test will. And there's some budget-friendly options on the market. This one you can buy on Amazon. And this is made by West Mountain Radio. It's a battery capacity tester. These are very small and they take a long time to test a battery, but they work very well and they're very accurate. And with this one, you can actually graph out the results and see if there's anything going on. And all you have to do is plug it in with a USB, and then you connect these to your battery terminals. Now these are easy to use and you can eventually figure it out, but the thing that people always screw up is not charging their batteries to full before the test. A lot of battery chargers have a tough time making it to full. If the charger says it's done charging, but your voltage is 13.2, there's a problem. You really want to see 14.5 volts on these terminals before you do the test. Now once you do the test, you'll have a number, and you can compare that with the advertised capacity on the battery case. And if you use one like this, you'll have a curve, and you can see if there's a problem with the curve. If it's a nice smooth curve, just like this, it has a nice gradual decline into 10 volts, you're good to go. But if there's a flat line and then it drops to 0, you have a problem. Now naturally these cells degrade over time, so you're gonna have some loss. But if you're pulling only 80% of capacity after only a few years, that battery has a problem. This one works, but it only pulls 80 amp hours. Now this was an experimentation 12 volt battery, and I left it outside in Las Vegas for multiple summers, and I kept it at 100% state of charge. This thing's at like 60 or 70% capacity, so yeah, heavily degraded. But it still works. It's fine if the capacity is low. You just want to ensure that the curve is nice and smooth when it disconnects. If there's a sudden drop off, you might have a bad cell. Now let's say you don't have a capacity tester and you really don't want to do all that work. You can easily buy a battery shunt, and some of them are like 30 bucks. And all you have to do is connect your whole system to one battery and do a full cycle and see what you get. And then when you connect all the batteries together again, it's always a good idea to capacity test the entire bank. And if you have a shunt, you should check every 6 months or so to ensure your system's working. Now let's say all your batteries are working. Now it's time to put your system back together again. When you do that, you want to inspect your cables and torque everything to the proper spec. This is so crucial. Loose connections are very dangerous. And a lot of people say, oh, I have so many batteries, I'm not pulling that much current from each battery, right? But that's wrong. Current can flow at high amounts randomly for different reasons. Even one loose connection in a battery can cause meltdown. So make sure you torque everything properly. And then, a lot of people complain that these cost too much. They're pretty cheap. It's a heat camera. Turn on your inverter and put on the largest load you can, and then hit it with the heat camera and see if there's any hot spots. And wiggle the connections with your hands. If it passes those tests, you'll probably be fine. But keep in mind the heat camera cannot be depended on. I've had complete batteries meltdown and there was nothing on the outside that was hot. So checking with this can give a false sense of security. This is great for terminals and connections, but not if there's a real issue going on inside. You need to take your system apart and do an internal resistance measurement and then do a capacity test. Now you can also test for current sharing issues. Use a clamp meter and ensure that each battery is feeding into the system with the same amount of current. So if you have 5 batteries in a 100 amp load, each battery should be feeding in 20 amps. So just set this to DC and then clamp each battery and you'll see if each one's giving 20 amps. And that's pretty much it. It seems like a lot, but it's pretty simple. Now, if any of this was confusing, please post it on the forum. We have a beginner section and I'll have that link down below. So thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.